Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, I thought we'd just do a chilled out one where we talk about Bendy and the Ink Machine and the future of the game on this channel, as well, of course, as the future of the game in general. What sequels will there be? You know, what are the plans from the kindly beast, I guess it is now, was the Meatly Games and Joey Drew Studios, the people making the game. What will they do next, and what will they bring to the table next in terms of the future of the franchise? I also wanted to cover the news that, of course, Bendy and the Ink Machine is now coming to mobile phones later this week. So if you've got an iPhone or an Android device and you haven't had the chance to play Bendy and the Ink Machine yet, you now will be able to without needing a PC or games console, which is pretty cool. This was announced the other day on Twitter, and there's also been a YouTube video showing the first footage of it released by the Meatly himself. As well as this, the other co-creator of the game, Mike Mood, released some extended gameplay showcasing what this port on the mobile looks like, and it looks really good. It actually looks really smooth. They said it's a very solid port and they've put a lot of work into it. So people playing on mobile should get a really good experience with this game. I have pre-ordered it myself. I think it's going to be really cool playing it on the go. It's kind of like having the Switch version, I guess, but strangely the footage they showed of the mobile port actually looks better than the Switch version, in my opinion at least. Like, the visuals look really slick, so I'm looking forward to playing this on Friday. I am going to be playing it on the channel, not through the entire game perhaps, but I will be playing a few chapters and obviously giving you guys my first impressions, you know, for what they're worth, I guess. But as you can tell today, guys, this isn't a scripted video. It's just me talking into the mic and filling you guys in on the news, as well as kind of the plans I've got for Bendy on this channel. A lot of you guys have been asking in the comments on my other videos, you know, when my next Bendy video is coming. Obviously, you're getting one today, but it's kind of more of a news type video. I'm guessing you're mostly asking after the theory type videos. The truth is there, guys, there isn't actually that many more theories for me to cover. I have got a few ideas for future videos on Bendy theory-wise to do, but there aren't going to be that many more. And that's because the game did end with Bendy Chapter 5. At least the story of Bendy and the Ink Machine is now over. So it's very hard for me to sort of pull out theories and, you know, like from thin air, so to speak. And I don't want to just kind of milk it to death, you know, like I've always thought, if there's a theory worth covering, something that I'm interested in, I'll do it, but if there's not, then I'm not going to. So I kind of want you guys, if you see people in the comments section, especially on my videos that aren't Bendy related, commenting, asking me for content on this game, please tell them to come watch this video so that they know what's going on, because I'm going to start deleting those kind of comments. It's not very nice getting them on videos that are unrelated to the game completely. Now, I love the game, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Bendy and the Ink Machine fan, of course you can tell, but, you know, I have to make other kind of stuff as well, and I want to make other kind of stuff as well. So that's that point covered, guys. You know, like, I do want to continue making Bendy videos on this channel, and I will do. I'll be covering the mobile port, as I say, I'll be playing some of that. I will be doing some future theories here and there, and any future Bendy games that come out, as well as other games from the kindly beast, like their new game that was teased in Bendy Chapter 5, if you got the secret there. I will, of course, be covering those games on this channel because I love what those developers put out. I think they're a great team, and I think they've got an immense amount of talent. So, you know, don't worry, future stuff will be covered, but for now, Bendy stuff may die down, and that's just the way it's got to be. But with that said, guys, what is the future of Bendy and the Ink Machine? Well, obviously, I don't personally know. I'm not a developer working with them in any kind of sense, and I don't have insider info really into anything they're doing. However, what I will say is that, you know, I have an interest and I like to speculate, so in this video I think I'm going to give my sort of ideas as to where I personally hope the series goes to next, and the kind of things that I would like to see. So it's kind of just like my hopes and dreams, I guess. So let's get started with a look at where they could go with Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, they've said they're not going to be making any more Bendy and the Ink Machine games, I believe. They said there will be more from Bendy, but not from Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Well, I think it's time I made this perfectly clear. Chapter 5 is not the end for our little devil darling. I have so many things planned for him and all the Bendy cast under the banner of Joey Drew Studios.
And that's completely understandable, because obviously Bendy and the Ink Machine ended with Chapter 5, and it had an ending. It was an ambiguous and mysterious ending, but it was an ending nonetheless. And that kind of ambiguous ending really fit with what Bendy was all about from day one, which was to get the community talking and theorising about where the story was going next. It was very Hello Neighbour, very FNAF in that regard. And also Doki Doki Literature Club, another game that did that quite well. You know, it had the community filling in the blanks with the story and engaged everyone, and I loved it for that. You know, I loved being able to make theories about Bendy and give out my sort of 2 cents about where I thought the story was going next. part of the journey and part of the allure of that game for me. But the ending, of course, needed to be done in that way, because if you give a definitive answer to a story like that, it takes away all of that mystery. And I think they respected the community enough to say, hey, you guys can, sort of make your own conclusions as to where the story ended up. So you have people like me who believe, the whole thing is a cartoon world created by Joey Drew that Henry's trapped inside a never-ending loop. You have other theorists, like I think Matt Pat from Gamer Theory believes that its story is being told by Joey to his niece, Henry's daughter. Which again, is a bit cliche of an ending if that is the intended meaning, but hey, who am I to judge? And at the end of the day, if they were to make a sequel, that would be the easiest way to do it. They could say, hey, all of these characters are in different stories being told by Joey Drew, and, in a sequel they could potentially say, in this story, this happens to them, and in this story, this happens to them. And it would be very easy to churn out sequels that way if they wanted to. However, if they wanted to go the route that it was all a never-ending loop within a cartoon world, it would be, how do we get out of this? What can we change, to escape this sort of alternate universe, so to speak? So there's lots of ways they could go with a sequel, but of course, if they were to do that, it would mean saying that this is the canon ending, and they would have to say, once and for all, what the definitive ending to the original game actually was. And I don't know that they want to do that, so I'm not sure we'll ever get a true sequel to Bendy and the Ink Machine. However, I do find it unlikely we won't have games that feature the same characters in the future, simply because the franchise is so big now that it seems unlikely that they would throw those characters away, after one game. I kind of feel like it might be a Five Nights at Freddy's type situation, where the next few years we see lots of different games coming out of Joey Drew Studios, which is the new team set up by the original group of people out of Immediately Games who now formed a Kindly Beast, which is their new studio. They formed a company called Joey Drew Studios, and that is to make future Bendy games and merchandise. So I feel like those people in that department will be handling future Bendy stuff. So we may get quite a few new Bendy games from that team in the future, but who knows if they will be direct sequels to Bendy and the Ink Machine or not. But what I would really love to see, guys, most of all, and I wanted to talk about this towards the end of this video, is DLC. I think DLC, which is downloadable content if you didn't know, it's so popular these days. It comes out for a lot of single player experiences, big games like Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Uncharted had DLC, and it just seems like, indie games are starting to sort of get in on that as well. We've just had like expansion to Hello Neighbor released. It doesn't happen so much with Five Nights at Freddy's type games, because obviously they're quite short, small games that come out, sometimes two within the same year. However, an episodic game like Bendy and the Ink Machine absolutely lends itself to DLC. You could easily make a DLC pack, for example, fleshing out the characters. One of my criticisms of Bendy and the Ink Machine was that the characters themselves, especially the sort of villains of the story, didn't really get a lot of depth. They didn't get fleshed out very much throughout the story, because there simply wasn't a lot of time to do that. So all we really got was the audio logs and a little bit of a monologue here or there during a cutscene. It was enough to give us an idea of what the characters were about, but outside of characters like Joey Drew, we didn't really learn that much about their motivations or what happened to them. So I feel like if you did a DLC for someone, say like Sammy Lawrence, and you find out why he's got his sort of cultish like rituals, why he's able to do certain things he is within the story, that would be really cool. You could almost go like the Bioshock 2 route with a story like that. You could go sort of an Outlast route with a story like that, a kind of really dark, ritualistic like story. And because the original Bendy and the Ink Machine was split into chapters that were roughly like 45 minutes to an hour long each, you could easily make the DLCs, that sort of length as well. Sell them for about $5-6 like you would a chapter, and, that's good value. It's about an hour's worth of gameplay for around $5, and the same length as a regular chapter for the game. Fleshes out some of the characters that we haven't got enough backstory for, which means it gives the team a little bit of breathing room before doing a full sequel, gets to experiment with some new gameplay mechanics potentially before jumping into a sequel. Yeah, it would just kind of be good, I guess, for the lore of the story, extra exposition there. I would also like to see one maybe from the Susie Campbell's Alice Angel, before she meets Henry, seeing how her daily routine goes by, seeing her, personal anguish and her battle with the sort of Jekyll and Hyde side of her personality. That would be a cool story to tell as well. But there's lots of potential for DLC packs that could come out for this, and I think, it would be a wasted opportunity if they didn't do that. But who knows if we'll see a direct sequel to this game, guys. I am excited to see what the actual next game from the Kindly Beast is, which will be a completely different game to Bendy. I will be covering that on the channel. I'm extremely excited for it because they're very talented, these guys, and after their first game pretty much was Bendy the Ink Machine, it had so much originality and it was so inventive and so fresh that I feel kind of like their next project is going to be something quite special, so we should all keep an eye out for that. But with that said, guys, this has just been a kind of a rambling video, really. I'm talking about the future of Bendy, how I cover Bendy on my channel and how I will be going forward, and of course the news that Bendy is coming to mobile very shortly. We'll be covering that on the channel, as I said before. Hopefully this video wasn't too all over the place. I just wanted to put something out today because I've been recovering from a cold, so I didn't want to make something too intense and scripted today. I will be back later in the week with some more videos, so stay tuned for those and my Bendy playthrough on mobile later in the week. But with that said, guys, thank you for watching today, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video.